Checking out another new release today, Armani Stronger With You Tobacco. Man, do I like the sound of that. I mean, there's something about the note of tobacco that is something that instantly catches my attention in a positive way. And whenever I see that note utilized, I'm buying it. A lot of times it can be leveraged for marketing and you might not even pick up on that note a whole lot, especially when talking designers. However, there are a few, really solid group of designer tobacco fragrances out there that do stand true to their name. So we're going to see if this is one of them. The Stronger With You lineup in general is a little bit more hit or miss in terms of some people will say they're just way too basic, way too generic, and other people will swear by them and love them. And I happen to really like the line pretty much in its entirety. Stronger With You absolutely being my favorite, and these exclusive editions are pretty good without being too out of pocket, too out of character for this designer line. I do like what they're doing with these, kind of taking a spin on focusing on one note. We've had Stronger With You leather, amber, oud, and I think that's it as far as the exclusive editions go. And of course, now we have Stronger With You tobacco. So again, given that this is an exclusive edition, the availability is going to be a little bit more hit or miss as well. So you kind of have to be on the lookout for it. And if it's something that you do want to pick up, you need to be diligent about buying it when you have the chance. This is brand new, but it already hit discounters for around $125, $130, $135, somewhere within that range. And it sold out pretty much instantly after I sent out an email and a text about it. So again, this is something where you just had to be proactive. If you want to get a bottle, just take the opportunity to do it while it's in stock, because it's going to be one of those here and gone type of things, like with the rest of them. Really, again, even Stronger With You absolutely and intensely can be like that as well, not just the exclusive editions. I don't know why that is. So let's see if I can actually hit the target, and right away I'm liking that a lot. One thing I'll say firsthand, it's not as Stronger With You smelling as a lot of the others. So, even the oud version and amber and leather, they still open up with that kind of chestnut, vanilla, almost hazelnut, tonka sweetness that is prominent throughout the entire line. So it ties it back to those immediately. This one, immediately I am noticing the tobacco. I'm noticing a lot of woods alongside of it. It is taking a very traditional approach to a tobacco forward scent, but in a good way. And also one thing I'll go ahead and put out there really quick, again, this is just initial thoughts, is it's not necessarily reminding me of anything else in terms of like clone wise. They're not taking a direct shot at Mancera red tobacco or Tom Ford tobacco vanille or whatever it might be. This is kind of in its own lane here. Given that it does have that prominent note, you might be inclined to compare it to and to think of other tobacco scents, and that's kind of where people fall into a trap, because then they start convincing themselves that because that tobacco note is similar to that in another scent, that all of a sudden they're very close, when it's not always the case. And I will also say that it's a pretty prominent, pretty heavy-duty tobacco. It's not something that's super tame and super dumbed down for it being a designer release. Like for example, Dolce & Gabbana The One, an iconic men's masterpiece, an iconic tobacco scent. It's one of my favorites. The Eau de Parfum, amazing. But the tobacco in there is a little bit more subdued. Still pick up on it, and it's prominent. It's just not going to be as in your face. This one has a bit more of a kind of a brash texture to it. It gets the point across a bit more. So this would be one of those deals where if you're really sensitive to tobacco or you just don't like it, you're probably not going to like this one. And again, going back to what I was saying, not a whole lot of Stronger With You, truthfully. There really isn't. I mean, you're getting some sweetness from like a tonka vanilla base, but again, that's pretty par for the course in terms of tobacco scents in general. A lot of them use that. I'm not getting, the chestnut, the gourmand facets, the just overbearing sweetness and that type of style that I do get from the others. Like I said, even Stronger With You oud has that more Stronger With You backbone to it than this does. And again, that's just right off the initial impressions here. Things can very much change as time goes on, but I am impressed by this. I do think that this is a big step in, I don't want to say the right direction because it's not saying that they have been doing things wrong, but it's a really good release that I think will grab people's interest more if you're someone who's never been a big fan of the Stronger With You lineup. If you're someone who just likes tobacco fragrances a lot, you're really passionate about them, you like that note, this might be something that you would jump over and try, even if you have no desire to try the rest of the line. So just kind of separating this one on its own, taking Stronger With You out of it and just looking at the scent itself, it's pretty impressive. I think this can really hold a match to a lot of the other more premium, expensive tobacco scents out there. And again, it's not just like any of the others. It's doing its own thing. But I would say, it does have kind of a little bit of just a more strong, demanding smell like red tobacco. Again, not saying it's a clone of that and that they're super similar. This is still a lot more tame, but red tobacco is very just upfront and there's no holding back about it. This kind of leans that way a little bit. I just realized I haven't even went over the note breakdown, so let's do that. We've got a full note breakdown too. Black pepper, pink pepper, cardamom, sage, and elemi up top. In the mid, we have tobacco, cinnamon leaf, chestnut, and chili pepper. In the base, we have bourbon, vanilla, guaiac wood, benzoin, and amber. So a pleasant surprise that we're getting a full breakdown here. So just to kind of go through this, definitely some spices off the top. Not a ton of cardamom, but some of the cinnamon leaf, which is a mid, but it's kind of coming through. A little bit of a cinnamon kick off the top. Some of those peppers are coming through. And then, of course, the other note that stands out, tobacco, staying true to its name, and it really is a tobacco scent up front, from the very beginning. They have chestnut in here. And again, that's kind of a popular note within the line, chestnut, hazelnut, kind of just that smell, which gives it a little bit of a gourmand sweetness. And really, I'm not getting a ton of it. And so, yeah, that's kind of what ties it back to the other Stronger With You lineup. And I'm not picking up on that a whole lot. What else do we have? Bourbon, vanilla, guaiac wood, benzoin, and amber in the base. So pretty standard base note structure here for a tobacco scent. Vanilla and benzoin kind of going together. And then amber, which is almost always going to show up in these tobacco forward scents. So this one's coming in as an eau de parfum concentration. We'll have to see how it holds up in terms of performance. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty good. I don't see this one being super weak. For the most part, the Stronger With You lineup is pretty solid in terms of performance. Absolutely being one of the top performers. Stronger With You Oud up there as well. For the most part, the whole line does pretty good. The original has never been the best on my skin, and Freeze is a little bit weaker for obvious reasons, but other than that, they're all pretty solid, so I would expect this one to follow suit. Yeah, I'm really happy about this one. I'm pleasantly surprised. I had a feeling it was going to be pretty good. I was expecting more Stronger With You smell, so I think it's kind of cool that they got away from that a little bit, at least, in a different approach, whereas the others still stay true. This one kind of wanders off a bit. And I think that's a good thing because, you start pumping out this many flankers, and if they all just smell a bit like Stronger With You, especially to a pretty heavy extent, makes it pretty redundant. That's not the case here. So for tobacco lovers, even if you don't care about Stronger With You, just judging the scent on its own, this is top tier. I would say this is really good. It's not going to take the place of things like Spice Bomb Extreme and probably even Dolce & Gabbana The One for me, just in terms of nostalgia, but also those are just masterfully done. But this one can definitely hold its own, and I think this, given if it's going to be somewhat easy to get at some point, which probably not, but if you can pick up a bottle and you're able to really get some use out of it, I think you would be impressed. So I'll link it down below. I think it's sold out right now, but it will restock. And again, these new designer releases have been hitting discounters quick, a lot of times before they've hit retailers. So if you want to be the first to know when that happens so you can get them before everybody else gets their bottle, sign up to my mailing list and texting list. It's completely free to sign up. And that's really all we do. We send out notifications when new designer fragrances hit discounters and, of course, below retail. And we also send out notifications when rare and discontinued fragrances pop up as well. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.